only a Finch waiting on tables, but one in the courthouse lawing for Negroes. Yes, indeed. What has this world come to when a Finch goes against his right raising? I'll tell you. Your father's no better than the Negroes and trash he works for.
Miss Dubose, we've been going to town by ourselves since we were this high. Come on, Scout, don't pay any attention to her.
I'm going down to Mrs. Dubose's for a while. I won't be long.
What's she want?
She's dead, son. She died a few minutes ago.
Oh, well...
Well is right. She's not suffering anymore. She was sick for a long time. Son, didn't you know what her fits were? Mrs. Dubose was a morphine addict. She took it as a painkiller for years. The doctor put her on it. She'd have spent the rest of her life on it and died without so much agony, but she was too contrary. As the mountain air, she was conscious to the last, almost. Conscience. And cantankerous. She still disapproved heartily of viewings and said I'd probably spend the rest of my life bailing you out of jail. She had Jesse this box. Shh. I think that was her way of telling you everything's now, Jem. Everything's all right. You know, she was a great lady. She was. She had her own views about things, a lot different from mine, maybe. Son, I told you that if you hadn't lost your head, I had made you go read to her. I wanted you to see something about her. I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. Mrs. Dubose won. All 98 pounds of her. According to her views, she died beholden to nothing and nobody. She was the bravest person I ever knew.
And so a quiet, respectable, humble Negro who had the unmitigated temerity to feel sorry for a white woman has had to put his word against two white peoples. I need not remind you of their appearances and conduct on the stand. You saw them for yourselves. The witnesses for this state, with the exception of the sheriff of Macomb County, have presented themselves to you, gentlemen, to this court, in the cynical confidence that their testimony would not have been doubted, confident that you gentlemen would go along with them on the assumption, the evil assumption, that all Negroes lie, that all Negroes are basically immoral beings, that all Negro men are not to be trusted around our women, an assumption one associates with minds of their caliber. Which, gentlemen, we know is in itself a life as black as Tom Robinson's skin, a lie I do not have to point out to you. You know the truth, and the truth is this. Some Negroes lie, some Negroes are immoral, some Negro men are not to be trusted around women, black or white. But this is a truth that applies to the human race and to no particular race of men. There is not a person in this courtroom who has never told a lie, who has never done an immoral thing, and there is no man living who has never looked upon a woman without desire. Atticus paused and took out his handkerchief.